Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today going to be going over my thoughts of the patch notes for patch 2.38. They actually just came out. It's pretty late right now, so I'm going to record this, get this on YouTube, and then head to sleep. And there are actually some pretty interesting things in here. For one, we're going to have changes to Sands of Time drops and UAT drops, and things like that for the Circus Tower and the second coil of Bahamut. We're going to have the next form of the Zodiac quest. Personal housing is in fact in, and there's a ton of other little changes that I've already seen and go over. So let's go over. So the first thing we have is the continuation of the saga of the Zodiac weapons, the Atma, Animus, Novus. The next step is the Nexus version of our weapons, and it is going to be item level 115 according to this sentence here. You will be rewarded with a relic weapon Nexus of item level 115, and it will retain the stats that you had on your Novus. Now doesn't go into exact specifics, and because the servers aren't live right now, I can't give you the exact specifics just yet, but it says a weapon's soul attunement level will rise by a set amount determined by the activity being performed. So there's gonna be a variety of activities you can perform. We don't know what they are yet, but apparently it's gonna change either over time or certain time passes, certain events are worth more. So we can expect that if you find out that something is worth more, you'd want to tell everyone, hey guys, the Nexus weapon, if you really want to get some attunement on it right now, you're probably going to want to do this piece of content. So I'm interested to see how that plays out when the servers go live. I'm definitely going to be checking that out and making my own standalone video for that part of the quest line with my opinions on how it works. We've got some new delivery Moogle quests. If you're into the lore kind of things, it's 4 more quests right here. Definitely go check those out. They're changing fates a little bit in the terms of Alexandrite. You can actually get it with your Nexus and Novus weapons equipped. So now it's not just, that's, in case you're wondering why that is, it's because you can now respec your Novus, but it's basically you have to redo the entire Sphere Scroll section. It's kind of what we would expect it to be. It's not an easy change of stats. You're pretty much going to have to do an entire Sphere Scroll over again. But to make it a little bit easier, you can get Alexandrite with a Novus or Nexus weapon. Don't know what the drop rates are just yet. Now there are of course some Grand and Free Company changes. It looks like they're mostly things that that Free Company leaders are going to be looking into right here. As someone who isn't a leader, it's something I'm not really too into. It seems to be mostly handling in the event of the deletion of characters results in a Free Company losing all of its members. That company will now be automatically disbanded. Just things like that. The one below it is the same thing for Linkshells on top of Free Companies. So just a few little things to make sure there isn't a flood of extra Free Companies or Linkshells in the game. Now housing, there are some wards that were added. The 7th and 8th wards were added, and there are some different pricings depending on the server that you live on. The server, like for example my server, small plot is for 5 mil, 5 mil for a first class, 4 mil for a small. Definitely more pricey than we thought they were going to be. Last we checked, we thought they were going to be about 850k. I'm not sure which house I will be buying. I have a good idea though, but I am definitely going to be buying a personal house. Keep in mind these prices will deteriorate. It will fall to about half of that, so in 30 days it'll only be 2 million on my server, 1.6 for the 5th class plot on these servers, and 1 million on these servers. So eventually it'll be affordable, but to be honest, by then they're going to need more housing wards anyway, because simply put, 2 wards is not enough for the demand of personal housing. And I can guarantee you that by the time this video is out, there's already a massive amount of forum posts or Reddit posts about this. So as you can see, it does say individual buyers can buy it. Even if you're part of a Free Company house or you own a Free Company house, you can in fact buy your standalone house. Icons for individually purchased houses will appear on the maps. When entering a residential district from an open world area, there's a lot of little things right here. Abbreviated company name. In the case that both the Free Company estate and the company's member personal estate feature miniature aetherites, the teleport destination will label the sections either Free Company or individual housing. That's good because I don't even know if I'll be using that one all that much, but we'll see. Players can now ride mounts in residential districts. You know what? I missed that the first time around. Thank God. Like, that is something that I am very, very thankful that we have. On top of that, a few other changes, challenges in the log, new structures added to Revenant's Toll. So I'll be sure to show you guys what the new Revenant's Toll looks like as well tomorrow. It's now possible to register for the Striking Tree without a performed party. So wait a minute. That means that, so now you can Duty Finder Ramu Extreme. Good luck. And his rings are now being brought up to item level 110. If you already own them, it's going up. Now, there were some interesting PvP changes. Cleric stance will no longer be usable in PvP. I'm sort of happy with that because one of Scholar's greatest strengths, and even White Mage's greatest strengths is the ability to just go cleric stance, wreck everybody, and then pop lustrates or benedictions, or have your fairy heal you. It can make it extremely frustrating, although I'm sure there are going to be scholars and white mages who are not at all pleased with that. PvP actions will be equipped automatically when changing your class or job. I like that as well. That can get really, really annoying. Some clarity, but here are some big changes that I know people wanted to know about. Adjustments have been made to the following items obtainable from treasure coffers in the second coil of Bahamut and Circus Tower. Unidentified Algan Tomestones and Oil of Time. The treasure coffers that appear upon completing the first turn of Bahamut and defeating Amon and Zonde will now yield an unidentified Algan Tomestone and Oil of Time. Summarize that because I said it kind of weird. The first coil of Bahamut will now drop an unidentified Algan Tombstone and an Oil of Time, and Amon and Zonde, so the two last bosses of Circus Tower, will now also drop UATs and Oil of Times always. There's not a chance, they will always drop those items. Sands of Time, even more interesting. Now turn 7 has 1 Sand of Time added on it, so it's 2 pieces of loot, 1 oil, 1 sand. That's a lot of friggin' sands and oils. And also, Zonde and the Circus Tower will now always yield 2 of them. So, to be honest, I mean, still, you can only get the 1 piece of loot per week, but that makes them a lot more accessible. The hunts might see a little bit of a fallback now. I mean, sure, you can get tons of them from the hunts per week, and of course, the mythology you get is nothing to be laughed at either. But that's actually really good considering 2.4 is about to come out, making that gear a lot more accessible for the next rating tier. This is just confirmation of some of the new items. Some new glasses are being added, Zodiac glass. I'm assuming contemporary, well, no, actually, yeah, it's just some new items, new head items, the Nexus items, new recipes for those items that are right here as well. Following items no longer considered unique. Artisan spectacles and foragers hats. Following items can now be stored in your armoire. All our yukatas and stuff. The wrist gloves are now all classes. And then there's going to be some changes here that I wasn't really too keen on. I'm not a big crafting guy. Crafting log has been adjusted as follows. To account for the influx of new recipes, a page switching feature has been added to those categories that contain over 100 recipes. Oh, that's actually really useful. I'm actually kind of glad that we have those things now. So that's a lot of friggin' recipes, but it's still going to take a pretty long time. I would really like a search feature. That would probably be the best thing, to search through your recipes if we're going to really have that many recipes, you know? New achievements for getting a Nexus, a few other things, a Nexus weapon, unique sound system will draw the player's attention to the confirmation screen. I actually kind of like that. A unique system sound will be played to draw the player's attention to the confirmation screen. I guess I don't really play with sound on. That's still kind of nice, though. Recommendations feature has been adjusted. Face with a recommended lower level will now be displayed in the recommendations list. Certain hairstyles previously only accessible via the aesthetician can now be used when making new characters or retainers. Save character appearances. This window got a few changes, reflect adjustments to PvP actions. The Grand Company listing is gone. It's also gone from here, which I think is great. I hated the Grand Company listings here. It was completely pointless considering every Grand Company had the exact same abilities. Teleport interface has received kind of a change, and honestly, I like it a little bit. It's a little bit more organized, but I'm afraid that it's going to be that the game's starting to go back to being a little bit too menu heavy. I know that the more teleports we have, having these sort of sorting systems will be nice, but I'm hoping that it's still, I want to get my hands on it first, that it's still simplified. I'm going to have to get used to the new one, definitely. Weather forecasting also had a slight change as well. What else do we have here? Oh, color coordinated things in front lines now in a what's the word I'm looking for? Grand Company controls an area and now has a little circle around it that makes it color coordinated. As someone who's colorblind, I can't see this one at all. I'm assuming it's red because it's the Maelstrom, but it's completely invisible to me. It looks the same as this and this, kind of, I guess is the best way I could put it. Oh, do they have all those capped? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Nope, I guess not. Anyway. A few other things, a lot of little quality of life things with linking, and a new message has been added to alert players to new messages received in unselected chat channels. A few little tidbits right there, just a lot of little quality of life stuff right here. Asking prices will now be displayed in retainers list of items up for sale. A new slot in the armory chest for Ninja. Shop windows involving exchanges for specific items now show NQ and HQ. Away from keyboard will now automatically be disabled upon move. Will no longer be automatically disabled upon moving the mouse cursor. That's good because a lot of times I'll have the game up and I'll be doing something on here while I'm working, and I'll move it over and it'll say I went on AFK, but I'm really not. I really still am AFK. So it's kind of weird. 2 new UI scalings, 90 and 110%. I guess that's good. I'm sure, having more sizes is always better. I would really, really like a slider. I don't know if that's anything in the works at all, but a slider for UI size would probably be the best thing as opposed to all these predetermined sizes. They could still make them the same sizes, but everything in between would probably be much nicer. Reward delivery. What's this? A button for retrieving reward items, collecting bonus items, and veteran rewards has been added. Alright, I'm definitely going to have to remember that, because when I get the Enquire Within, I'm going to be looking for it. Warning message with letterboxes at full capacity to warn you you will be unable to receive new letters. That's good, because it doesn't tell me that at all. I mean, it does. It has this information at the bottom, but it's not really, you know, in your face, kind of. I like it in your face. It also seems they're adding an item comparison thing, but to be honest, it's still not what I want from an item comparison thing. I want to be able to see the exact differences. I don't just want them side by side, you know. I want to be able to see +2 strength or -20 parry or plus, you know, 29 accuracy. I don't just want to see the basic stats and look at them side by side. It is convenient to have this, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a convenience, but it would definitely be the most standard convenience of MMOs to have that sort of stat comparison. Maybe sometime in the future, we'll see. Try on subcommand, you can do it for all these items. Search for items subcommand, good, because searching for items is definitely going to become important. This seems kind of weird. HUD parameter bars will now display current weapon status, sheath or unsheathed, as well as the current targeting mode. That's, you know, that's cool and all, but I would really like to be able to see my party members TP, so I think that that should be a higher priority. Regardless, it's something that is still good to have, and I'm glad they're making all these little changes. Also, 2 new emotes, the hug emote and the slap emote. I am going to get hugged and slapped so much now. I'm not going to be able to stop it. Looking forward to that. You'll now be able to move freely with no momentary freeze after dismounting. That's good, because that always kind of irked me a little bit. Few changes to the hotbar copy. Now, this was weird. I saw this before, and I don't really know what to think about it. New accessibility settings have been added to the system configurations menu. Final Fantasy XIV Team strives to provide an enjoyable, accessible gaming experience for all our players. As part of this continuing endeavor, we have implemented an experimental new visual alert feature. Now, when I first, it's only available on PC, which is unfortunate right away. But when I first saw this, I thought it was like if I'm standing in a circle that it's going to, you know, sort of like Deadly Boss mods from World of Warcraft. That's what I thought it was going to be. But it seems that that's not at all how it works. The option to enable a visual representation of sound waves has been implemented for the benefit of our hard of hearing players. With this feature enabled, players will see a visual representation of the various sounds emitted within the game. We hope that this will prove useful. So I guess basically what it's trying to achieve is, okay, so you know how when your duty pops, you get a sound, right? And it's your way of confirming, okay, my duty finder just popped. It seems like that is what it's going to have a visual representation of. Background music, system alerts, and sound effects, ambient sounds, and voices. I don't really know exactly how it works. Like this looks weird, really, really weird to me. I guess as somebody who's not hard of hearing, it's hard for me to understand. If you're someone who is actually hard of hearing, I would actually like to hear from you. If you know, try this out, experience it, let me know in the comments, because I really don't know what to think about it. I'll give it a shot, like maybe I'll include it in a video or something like that, but it's probably not something that someone who's not hard of hearing like myself needs to worry about, or even needs to worry about, you know, just doesn't need to worry about. I don't know why I had to say it 3 times. A little bit more quality of life stuff here at the bottom, you know, getting towards the end of the thing. You know, we have cutscene, just a lot of little options right here. I can't go through absolutely all of them. There's just a lot of system and character configurations. If you're curious about these changes, I definitely recommend reading through them yourselves. And then new entries have been added to the auto translation dictionary, facilities, general actions, bunch of other things, occupied, unoccupied, mount roulette, minion roulette, just a few more basic terms for the auto translate feature. The background music for Pharaoh series has been adjusted. I'm curious, does that mean that the song plays throughout the whole dungeon now? Because if so, can we do that for Lost City of Amdapor too? Because I really don't want the boss music. And what's the one? Hullbreaker. Yeah, can we get that for Hullbreaker too then? I guess I'll just have to see what it actually is. And then, wow, a lot of these little changes, I'm not going to be able to go through all these. These are resolved issues. Holy moly. And what is this at the bottom? What is this? What is this? Why is this? Hold on, I'm pulling this. I'm bringing this over to translate. Can I get some translations on this right now? That's all I want. Is that even Japanese or is that Chinese? I don't know. I don't know languages. But when I put it in Google, it said Chinese and not. Alright, well, somebody tell me what this is. I guess I don't know what it's doing here at the very bottom. It's not like there's issues in the patch notes as it is. So overall, we have our Nexus weapons to work on. If you already have your Novus, you can now work your way up to a 115 weapon. So that's something that I'll probably be doing. I don't know if the way I itemize my Novus, if it's best in slot. It probably is. I have accuracy, crit, and determination on it, so it'll probably still be best in slot for me. But I guess I'll just have to check it out when I get online, see how long it's going to take. It'll probably take quite a long time to attune this thing through the use of the Zodiac glass, as we see here. Personal housing's finally in the game, but I feel like they still have some work to do on it. There's going to be a way higher demand of personal housing than they opened up wards to. What is that? 6 wards per server? 6 wards at how many houses? 25 houses? That is not even remotely close to the demand for personal housing. I'm guessing ultimately they're expecting a lot of people are just going to stick to their free company rooms, but they just, man, the demand for free housing, not free housing, for personal housing is huge. I mean, sure, we have the 300k rooms, and I'm sure that those are meant to be the less expensive alternative to owning an entire house. But you know what? People want to own an entire house. I know you want to add a guild sync. I know you want it to be sort of a status symbol. But you know what? Housing is something everyone likes to do, and sort of making it a status symbol, in my opinion, is something they should sort of strive away from. Yes, the free company housing, I believe, is a good idea for a status symbol. That it's mostly accessible. You know, you can, everyone can pitch together for the guild. It's easier to come up with the money than, to expect solo. Like, I mean, come on. Let's go to that. There are going to be people who buy. And also, another thing is, these plots can also be bought by free companies. These aren't solely personal housing plots. I didn't even think about that. So it's going to be like the personal housing and the free company housing are now in direct competition with each other. And you know what? That's not good enough. Like, just flat out, personal housing just needs to be its own thing. I think the rooms, like I said, are a good idea that we have them now, but like, this is a big deal. That there's going to be a lot of complaints about this, and honestly, I feel like they're for the most part justified, because housing is something so many people are looking forward to, and so few people can really get their hands on it and do with it what they want to do. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens on Reddit, what happens on the forums. Overall, I don't think it's a good implementation of personal housing. I feel like it's too much guilt. I mean, yeah, it's too much guilt for most people. That's just ultimately what it comes down to for me. Hey guys, so I actually just ended my recording and then went on Twitter and noticed that Yoshi-P actually made a post about this. So I'm going to drag that over here. And it should be on your screens right now. I'm going to blow it up just so we can see it. There we go. Now, so Yoshi-P, actually, I was literally just talking about it, and I just finished my recording. I was about to render it and everything. Went on Twitter, and I saw this. Yoshi-P actually addressed why there are so few new houses. So I'm actually making 2 videos in one video here. So as stated in the patch notes for patch 2.38, the plots of land available for purchase in the housing area will be the same for both free company and individual buyers. The introduction of housing plots in the future will also follow this structure. So right there, it already says that free company and individual buyers will be competing. Something I still didn't like. However, he did apologize for only being able to introduce 2 new wards. He says that in 2.4, they're going to be adding a new system and rectifying this. He says, in the future, we plan to be able to double the total land for all existing housing wards, including 2 new wards in patch 2.4 with the system change that we are currently working on. So basically, I guess we're gonna be doubling the total land, which is good because that's a lot more, but it's, in my opinion, still a very little amount of land for the number of players playing your game. Basically, the number of wards available now will be doubled. So we have 8 wards right now. We'll have 16 wards in a couple of weeks. So even if you don't get your land today, you can expect to get it in a couple of weeks. So you have a few weeks to save up some money to try and get the personal housing. It's going to be difficult to add this in time for the release of patch 2.4, but the server and housing teams are working as hard as they can to make it possible. Once again, I'd like to share my sincerest apology to all players who have been unable to purchase land in the latest patch. Please hold on for, most importantly, 1 more month for the release of patch 2.4. That is actually super important, and I didn't notice that. So today is September 16th. I really hope they don't do it on October 14th. I think it is, because that would, I think October 14th is the Tuesday before the fan festival, because my raid group is going to be pissed that I'm at the fan festival while patch 2.4 is out. But he's going to be giving us another update. I just wanted to include this at the end of this video as well, since it directly related to my thoughts. Still, I feel like they could definitely just do it not this way and not intertwine personal housing and free company housing. I know that they're talking about server space, but you know what? They have a whole new expansion coming out. They're going to have to do some server changes anyway to accommodate for that. They're going to have to work on some things that that are coming. But you know what? They're doing all they can. I mean, as far as I know, Yoshi-P is still, you know, overly, you know, excited that so many people play his game. Really, this needs to be a larger system. So I'm hoping that they go through some good changes. Hopefully, the doubling of the wards will be a good start, but they definitely are going to need more than land than that. That's, simply put, that's not enough land. Even if it is the prices that it is now, there are a lot of people who want to be part of personal housing, and they're going to get left out even with the doubling of the wards. So, again, leave your thoughts in the comments below. I know I already ended this video once, but I'm ending it again. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And, well, thank you for watching the extended part of my video. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to cut out the first part of me cutting it out. I'm just going to cut out the first exit. So that was my only exit. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos. I'm going to be doing a video on the patch notes, which I literally just reviewed earlier in this video. And I will see you guys on Final Fantasy XIV. Until then, take care.